and we are back. Part 2 with Debbie Lewandowski, real estate agents, driving in cars, looking at mansions, sort of. And like last episode, we don't have a mansion, but we have a fantastic guest, and we have a mediocre car. This is the first time, this is history on the show, that I've had to use my car, but more importantly, these last 2 episodes, part 1 and part 2, part 2 is today, is about Debbie Lewandowski. So today, we're gonna hear about how she coaches agents who do hundreds of millions of dollars and how they run their team. So since this is the car part of the show, I can tell you, this is my car. It's a 2017 GMC Yukon SLT, so it's the big boy. We call it the Black Beast, and it's like a condo on wheels. All the kids fit in there. We go everywhere, and they all have their own space. It's that big, so I won't go into too much depth about it, but I will tell you, I like the car. It's comfortable. The negative is, I think one gas station in LA about a month ago hit $6 a gallon. Right now it's about $4, so yeah, that part doesn't make me happy. But today's guest makes me happy, and Debbie Lewandowski is a champ. So I'm gonna grab her, we're gonna take a ride in my car and talk about coaching. And here we are, part 2 of real estate agents driving in cars, looking at mansions, sort of. And you sort of don't get the mansion part, and I'm sorry about that. I think, no, Ryan Gorman didn't get the mansion part either. But the interview, if I can get a celebrity like you, the interview is what they care about. Sorry guys, if you're looking for a $9 million mansion, that was the last episode. But this is Debbie Lewandowski. She runs the single largest Coldwell Banker office in the country. That's Newport Beach.
Very close. I don't know if there's a...
She's humbled. It'll do over $3 billion. And if it's not number 1, it is a very, very high number 2 at the end of the year. But you're battling for number 1, right?
We are.
You're battling for number 1. All right, so in part 2, I've got even a more exclusive car. And this is a record moment for the show because my budget's gotten so small and the creativity has gotten so bad that we're taking my car.
I love your car.
Well, it's a very relaxing ride. So here it is. It's a 2017 GMC Yukon SLT.
Thank you.
And we've got some
Can I sit on
Cheetos. Somebody who's eating Cheetos in the...
This is classic.
Yeah. All right, so there you go. You look good in the car. Here we go. This is part 2.
Okay.
And today I wanted to talk about coaching.
Okay.
But more specifically, I want to talk about coaching real estate agents that do hundreds of millions, the top elite. And there may be people watching that don't have agents that do hundreds of millions. I think that's pretty rare. But is it, let me just ask basic questions to start. You help me. First basic question is, do they all have teams at that level?
Yes.
Do you have your seatbelt on?
I don't.
Okay, put that on.
Yeah, they all have
Safety
teams at
first.
that level.
So they all have teams at that level. Okay.
There's 2 different kinds of teams. There is the team where there is a star and he has people around him that simply support his business model. And then there are teams that have a star and they have satellites all around them that are also income producing agents for that group.
Okay. And do you have both types of teams, or do you have stars?
No, every team has a star.
Okay.
But yes, I have both types.
So let's talk about the star that has a support group around him first.
Right.
How do you coach that type of person?
There's some fantastic examples of that in our office right now. Kristen Halton, Monica Carr, Casey Lesher. There are, and with those teams, I got to get really clear with the team leader, the star, what it is their vision and goals are, and from there we are able to put the right people around them so that they have the right support to do the volume that they need to do. So,
and get in tighter with me here. Okay. I've got a wide car, so we're gonna. Okay, so there we go. I just want to make sure that you're all in frame here.
Okay.
Okay, so when you sit down with an agent that's at that level, kind of what we talked about on part 1.
We did.
The one of the main things that you're working on is getting their vision, where they're going, extremely clear.
Extremely clear.
And then are you breaking it down, let's say, year to year?
For sure.
Month to month and day to day?
Yeah, so look, I'd like to see at least a goal, 3-year understanding of where it is we're going, because you got to build towards that, right? And when you're trying to put the right people on a team, there's some hit and miss. There's some errors. There's some lapses in the team person's interest in staying on the team, etc. So it's always a process of building that. But having short-term goals is also critical. Like those people are very accountable. They love accountability. They want to be accountable to not only their goals and what their financial sales numbers are, but they have an accountability to the rest of the team, and that's a learned behavior.
And that's what you're coaching them.
Right.
In the accountability, or making sure that they are accountable, but also making it an impactful experience or a positive experience for the rest of the team, because you do lose people. But before we get to that, the losing people, not the star agent, but are you helping them hire?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say I was an agent and I'm at about, let's say, 30 million.
Yeah.
Maybe 25 million. You're probably coaching me to hire my first assistant, or maybe my second. Maybe I'm bad at hiring.
Okay.
And we're at hiring an assistant. This is before I have agents surrounding me in a team setting. I just need a good staff.
You got it.
What techniques are you using to help me hire a staff?
Well, we're going to start with a great outline of what it is you want that person to do.
Okay.
Then I'm going to offer you a few places that you as the agent could put that ad, if you will, out online, and what you should look for, and then bring it down to 2 people, 3 people, and I'll interview those 2 or 3 people for you.
Okay.
And we'll decide if any of them are a fit. That is the single most important hire you make, is your first.
Your first hire.
Right, for sure.
Okay, so now let's fast forward for the sake of time.
Yeah.
You know, we're keeping it tight here. We're keeping it tight. I have done a great job hiring. I have a couple of staff. Now I have too many powerful open houses.
Right.
I feel like, I've had other agents hold them, but now I'm losing dollars. So now I come to you and I say I need to build a team.
Right.
What are you recommending I do at that point?
Well, let's find out if you are team worthy. What do you have to offer anybody who wants to join your team?
Well, I have multiple open houses every week, more open houses that I can handle than I can handle. So right there, they would be able to lead generate.
Okay, fair, but no, that's not really enough to warrant you being a team leader. Okay. You have to have a value proposition, you personally. What's your value proposition? What is it that you offer to somebody who's going to entrust their real estate career to you? Because that is the most important, clear part any team leader has to get their head around is, I now am responsible for other people and their incomes, and I have to have the right marketing in place, have the right systems in place, have the right people that are supporting in place in order for anybody to stay with me. Because, hey, DJ, if you just want a few people to do your open house, we should probably put you in a different caliber of team. You might be a star, and you just need some people around you that you pay to do things for you.
What's that saying? People don't care what you say, they care about. Well, no, I'm getting it wrong, but people don't care about something like what you have to say. They care about
how you make them feel.
How you make them feel.
Right.
So you're starting from the place of longevity on the team and training the leader.
Right.
How to be essentially, this isn't about you.
Right.
Because if it's about you, it should be you and a staff.
That's right.
If you're going to bring other people that are, sending their kids to college and they have lives and they need, to have successful careers, you need to coach that leader into figuring out how to truly care about those people being successful.
Right, and to have all the right strategies in place to do that. And that's where I come in.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to coach that team leader and that team so that they all win.
That's phenomenal. So do you use personality profiles, anything like that additionally? Which you use the color code?
I use the color code, and we all use DISC now. So.
Okay, DISC color code. Yeah. So that was what happened there? Well, what happened to my nose right there?
The loss of your beard. I don't know what's happening.
So color code and DISC. So that means let's say you run the ads and whatever.
But,
you get the people in, you give them the personality test.
That just gives me a baseline to start with, right? Okay. So let's say, for example, that you are yellow personality and fun is your bag, right? And it's hard to keep a yellow under control and focused on what they want to do. Well, I might want to add somebody on that team leader's group that has real deep roots in organization and can really ground that team. That might be a really good fit for you and your first hire.
So when you're coaching the leaders of the teams about this. You're really putting this puzzle together on paper, talking about
who should be your
the
hires.
personalities. That's
and what they do, right? So you need somebody who is your assistant first, and that person hopefully does or doesn't turn into the person who's really the leader on your team, not you. You're the talent, right? I want you to stay the talent,
right.
A leader on your team. And then, we get to a place and we've got to hire marketing people, right? Because your team needs marketing. But marketing is a super important part of what we do at Coldwell Banker. Is we strategize with these team leaders and all of our agents really on what marketing they're going to need to stay cutting edge and beat the competition.
Right. Oof. God, you're a powerhouse. I love it, Debbie. If I decide to go back and being an agent, you're going to coach me. So,
if you'll coach me.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's switch it a little bit because I'm just so fascinated. I've actually never had an agent that was in any of my offices that did $450 million.
Well, there aren't very many in the whole world.
So how do you deal with that animal? Is it an ego issue? It's like dealing with a real celebrity in our business.
He's a real celebrity.
Tim
Smith is
he knows
real
everybody. He went to Vegas. I heard he's having dinner with Steve Wynn. He goes here. He knows this. So he's a real celebrity.
He is.
So how do you lead that? How do you manage that?
Well, I am in awe of him. Really, I am his biggest fan, and I think that's a good place to start. I care that his business grows, that he gets what he wants, that he is a whole human being out there, that he's got a life that is full of not just real estate, but of the rest of the things that make him the great guy that he is. And part of building his team is helping him to stay focused on what those things are too, right? So I help him by coaching his admin team. He's got a very large admin team, so we're always trying to make him way more efficient and trying to stay ahead of the trends. But Tim is so talented. He's a real film buff.
Yeah, so it comes through on his his videos, right?
Yeah.
So anybody that wants to check it out, they would just YouTube Tim Smith and
Tim Smith Group.
What was the big one? The Duffy one, right?
Teach Me How to Duffy.
Teach Me How to Duffy.
Amazing.
The finest house on the harbor. It can park 8 Duffys on the dock just for starters. Yeah, my club, Bay Shore, Linda Isle, Ocean Charters. If you park your Duffy here, ain't nobody living larger. If you got some spare meals, take a tour, look around. Here's my man T. Smith, I'll let him break it down.
14,000 on 3 lots, 5 bedrooms with a loft, game room and a gym, and 2 bars for your gin. Infinity pool for the swim, check the master, soak it in. Solar power off the grid, Tesla backups for the win. Oh! Check the views you've been missing. Oh! Tim Smith with the listing.
Teach me how to Duffy, teach me how to Duffy, teach me how to Duffy, teach me how to Duffy.
And his latest zombie film for Halloween, I love.
I saw it. Amazing.
Yeah.
So
The Naked Man. There's so many to talk about.
What next for you?
Well,
We're going to wrap up the interview. We're pulling in. We went on a fabulous drive together.
Fantastic.
Around this nondescript business park in Irvine. Just drove around.
I love it.
What next for you?
Well, I have big goals and dreams for the office still. I love my job and I love everybody that I'm working with, and most importantly, I'm super energized about where we are, where we've been, and there's so much more to do, right?
Yep.
The market's changing, the business is changing. Shoot, we're now giving people money to revitalize their homes, and I think we're going to be in a position where one day, we are in control of the entire process, including purchasing a client's home if he wants to do that. So I think the business is in for a lot of big changes, and I want to be at the top of the game for that.
Oh, Debbie. Oh, Debbie Lewandowski, you inspire me every time. I love it. Thank you so much. I probably have maybe like 9 more interviews with you in my head of things I want to figure out.
Let's do
it wasn't enough time, but I think they'll get a tidbit of what you're about. And online, if somebody wanted to look you up, where would they what would they do?
Oh, go to YouTube and look at my videos where you can see the Debbie Lewandowski show.
I love it. Yeah. All right. Well, one more hug. That concludes part 2. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's a superstar. Thank you so much, Debbie. It's like a condo on wheels. All the kids fit in there. We go everywhere, and they all have their own space. It's that big. So I won't go into too much depth about it, but I will tell you, I like the car. It's comfortable. The negative is, I think one gas station in LA about a month ago hit $1 billion dollars a gallon. Right now it's about $4, so yeah, that part doesn't make me happy.